Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos. Manchester United have just beaten Tranmere Rovers by 6 goals to 0 at Prenton Park. Very good performance by Manchester United. The first time we have scored 6 goals, since the Alex Ferguson era. And I've got to say, I think, that's our biggest win this season. So I think the two biggest wins we've had since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in was today's game and the 5-1 win against Cardiff, which was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first game in charge, basically, in that. So yeah, I've got to say, very delighted with the result. We have now progressed into the 5th round of the competition. I do believe the 5th round draw will either be tonight or tomorrow, either before the Bournemouth Arsenal game or after the Bournemouth Arsenal game. So we will now get on with the 11, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer went with. He made 6 changes from the 2-0 defeat to Burnley. But, it's a good reaction from the players because, we've endured a really difficult week, losing, 2-0 to Liverpool last week in the league, losing midweek at home to Burnley 2-0, losing to them for the first time, since 1962, 58 years ago that is now. But good response from the players today. So the 11 Solskjaer went with, he went with a 3-4-1-2. Now, some people may believe that Man United should now start going with 3 at the back in the Premier League and see if that changes anything. So he did go with Sergio Romero in goal. Obviously, Romero tends to play in the cup games. Obviously, we still went with a pretty strong team. The 3 at the back, he went with Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof and Phil Jones. They were the 3 at the back. Left wing back Luke Shaw, right wing back Diego Dalot, Andres Pereira, Matic in that midfield. Lingard in number 10 and Anthony Martial and Mason Greenwood up top. So obviously, they was playing as a partnership, and obviously, Mason Greenwood, starts a lot of games in the cup, but I think he needs to get more starts in the Premier League. So let's get on with the goals now. So the first goal was from Harry Maguire. I've probably got to say Harry Maguire's was the best goal of the game. It's between his and Martial's, because Martial's 5th was absolutely fantastic, even though it did get a slight deflection. It was a goal from outside the box from Harry Maguire. Victor Lindelof had got the assist. I think we scored like 3 times in the space of 6 minutes, was it? In the space of 6 minutes. The second goal came from Diego Dalot. He did a Ronaldo chop, did Diego Dalot. I think it was, who got the assist for Diego Dalot? Was it Anthony Martial, if I'm right, who got the assist for Diego Dalot's? But it was a lovely finish with Dalot's, and I thought he had a really good game today for Man United, and I do presume he'll get more chances with Diego Dalot now he is back from injury. The third goal, Jesse Lingard, surprisingly. He was given the man of the match today was Jesse Lingard. That was his first goal in over the year, because last year, Jesse Lingard did not register 1 goal or 1 single assist. And I've been criticising Jesse Lingard a lot because his performances haven't been good enough, and recently he has been dropped. But I thought he ran the show today, did Jesse Lingard. Definitely was one of the best players on the pitch, but took his goal really well. I think it was Maguire, if I'm right, who got the assist for Lingard's 3rd. Then the 4th goal came from Phil Jones, surprisingly. I think he scored a header from the corner. Martial's 5th goal was absolutely outstanding. I think also Martial had got an assist in the game. It was a lovely curling effort. It went in, but I did get a slight deflection. It was 5-0 at half-time. And then obviously, the 6th goal came in the second half from Mason Greenwood. He'd obviously, got brought down in the box and he got the penalty and calmly, converted the penalty, did Mason Greenwood. Solskjaer obviously, brought some substitutions on in the game. We saw Fred come on in the game. We saw Brandon Williams come on in the game. I'm actually surprised Brandon Williams didn't start. I thought he would have started in this game, Williams. But there again, we view Brandon Williams as our first choice left back. So Fred came on, Williams came on, and also Chong came on. I thought, to be fair, Chong actually, made an impact when he did come on for us. So that game today just proves, that we can play well and we can play as a team. It just proves that, but we're just not doing this in at the top level. We can play well, like we have done today. We can play as a unit and that, and we can do that. we can do it against League One opposition, and we was very consistent today, but we just don't seem to replicate that in the Premier League. So we can do it against the League One side, but if we could do that like against the likes of Liverpool and Man City, how we played today, then that would be very very good. And like I said, we've got a lot of young players in the squad, that are developing and trying to improve at Manchester United, and Solskjaer's got a lot of faith in his young players, and I do believe that a lot of young players are going to become a success at Manchester United. I think Greenwood's going to do well. That goal he scored today was his 10th senior goal of this season. I think Williams is going to do well for us. He's now our first choice left back. Angel Gomez, he doesn't really get opportunities, Angel Gomez. And I did say, when Solskjaer going to be convinced to give Angel Gomez, his opportunities. But, I think if he gets more game time under his belt, I think he can do well, Angel Gomez. I also believe, when Tuanzebe is back fully fit, I think he can also do well. So we have got a lot of young players in the squad. But, analysing the game today, I did expect Manchester United to win, even though we've been very inconsistent, because obviously, Tranmere are struggling in League One. They're sitting 21st in League One. I expect us to probably win around 2, maybe 3-0, but I didn't expect us, to win by 6 goals to 0. I didn't expect that to happen. And obviously, if we hadn't have won this game today, there would have been a possibility chance that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have been sacked by Manchester United. I don't think it would have happened even if we hadn't have won, but there was reports saying that it could have happened. Prior to the game, Solskjaer, was coming out, saying that, the board are still determined to back him, even though, we have been inconsistent for the vast majority of this season. And he also, came out and compared himself to Jurgen Klopp, saying that, it took Jurgen Klopp around 4 years to get him to the level where he is at Liverpool. He believes Solskjaer that he needs more time, to build a team like Jurgen Klopp, basically. But obviously, we're nowhere near on City's level or Liverpool's level at the moment. But obviously, we've got to emulate to their level. But I think it's going to take us several years to do that, because it's going to take a long rebuilding process, and definitely more signings are needed at Manchester United. But, reverting back to what I said, I thought the players that played well today for us against Tranmere, I thought Maguire was very, very good. I thought he played well. He played the ball well out from the back, definitely. I thought his performance was totally comparison to the one against Burnley, because I thought he made a lot of individual mistakes against Burnley, did Harry Maguire, but he played really, really well today. The lot had a good game. Shaw also got an assist, I forgot to mention. Shaw had a good game today. Chong did well when he came on. I thought Greenwood had a good game. Chong should have scored near the end, because he actually hit the crossbar. But actually, the shots we did have on target went in. I think we had around 1 or 2 shots on target. Obviously, that didn't go into the back of the net. So that just proves how clinical we were today. We passed the ball well. We showed a lot of energy. We played with a lot of passion. And this is what we want to see on a regular basis from Manchester United. So if we could replicate this in the Premier League, then, that would be very, very good. Definitely in that. I don't think Fred was too bad when he came on. I think in the early stages, before we obviously, scored and then took charge, Tranmere, had a couple of decent chances. Obviously, they had quite a few corners, but you can just tell the difference, between obviously, League One and the Premiership. We've obviously, got the quality, but I did expect us to win today. And who knows, Man United could win the FA Cup this season. There's a possible chance it could happen. I did say, prior to the game, that it's one of our priorities this season is the FA Cup, and it's a chance of us getting some silverware on the board. Also, the Europa League's a chance of us getting a silverware on the board. And it's another route to Champions League football. Top 4 still on for us. I know we remain 6 points behind top 4. We've had so many opportunities this season, to close the gap on Chelsea. And realistically, we should be in that top 4 now, because Chelsea have been so inconsistent this season. So we have got quite a few ambitions this season. But even if we don't win the FA Cup this season, even if we don't win it, I'd love us to enjoy a good run in the Cup, because we enjoyed a good run in the FA Cup last season, because last season we progressed to the quarter-finals, but obviously, we lost to Wolves 2-1. So that was very, very disappointing, definitely. But, like I said, I thought the vast majority of our players put a shift in today. I don't think Jones was too bad either. Romero didn't really have nothing to do. He's obviously, our second choice goalkeeper. I don't think he's a bad goalkeeper, to be fair. Martial was very, very good today. Got a lot of runs in behind, scored a good goal, also got a good assist for the last second. So, yeah, overall, very, very impressed with the performance. I'm actually not surprised that Bay didn't play today. I thought he may have been involved in the game, but wasn't. Bay did. He has now come back from injury, by the way. He was out with a knee injury since pre-season, was Eric Bay, but now he's back in the team, which is very, very good news. Don't forget, recently he was playing for the under-23s. Fosu-Mensah, don't forget, he's now back from injury, but I'm sure at some point, Bay and Fosu-Mensah will get their opportunities. Pogba and McTominay still out, I think, until the end of this month or until the beginning of February. But when they do come back from injury, that will be a massive boost for Man United. Of course, Marcus Rashford's out, I think, until at least March. He's going to be out for at least 6 weeks, is Rashford. I don't think we'd have played Rashford today anyway, because obviously, it is Tranmere. But, we did play a lot of first teamers today because obviously, Solskjaer didn't want to take many risks. Because don't forget, we played Tranmere earlier on in the season prior to today. And we did lose to them. It was our under-21s. But Chong had actually, scored twice in that game. And, Solskjaer came out, prior to the game, and he's aware that, the conditions were very bad at Tranmere. But he said, that's not excusable, for our players. But at least, we got the job done now. We showed good mentality. And hopefully now we can go on a good winning run. Hopefully Man United can do this. I'm disregarding the City game because I don't think we're going to get out against City at the Etihad. They won 4-0 today against Fulham. We're 3-1 down from the first leg against City. So we've got to overcome a 2-goal deficit. Hopefully we can beat Wolves. That's our next league game is Wolves at home. We did progress past them in the third round. So we can compete against the big teams like we've proven. Don't forget, I think our fans are walking out after the 58th minute of that game against Wolves. Obviously, the couple of main explanations why that is to remember, the Munich disaster back in 1958 is to pay tribute. And plus, I think a lot of United fans haven't been happy, of what's been going on this season. So that's what's going to happen in the game against Wolves. So hopefully now, we can, we're going to go on a good winning run. And hopefully now the confidence now is in the team. And that, I haven't, looked at what Solskjaer's had to said. I haven't seen his overarching view on the game, but I do presume he will be delighted. But like I've said, it still doesn't change my perception regarding Solskjaer. I still don't feel as though he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. Like I say, one good result or two good results doesn't even change my perception regarding whether it's against a poor team or a good team. Like prime example, when we beat Tottenham and Man City earlier on in the season in the league, my perception still didn't change regarding Solskjaer. I was still Solskjaer out, basically. And I'm still Solskjaer out now. But I'm very sceptical, that the club will sack him at the moment. I think we're, the board and Ed Woodward, of course, are determined to back him in this January transfer window to see who he can recommend into the football club. They're also determined to back him in the summer to see who he can recommend into the football club because, looking at it, Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team because analysing the vast... right there a minute. Because analysing the vast majority of this team, sorry about that, it isn't Solskjaer's. The vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's. There's still players even the Van Gaal era. There's still, matter from the David Moyes era. There's still a couple of, one or two players here from the Alex Ferguson era. So, take that into account. But I am still Mulligan and Solskjaer out, definitely in that. But, not all of the blame stems from him. Like I said, we need to see a variety of changes at the club, these fundamental issues, I think, we've got to get rid of Ed Woodward, we've also got to get rid of the Glazers, a lot of United fans have been protesting against Ed Woodward and the Glazers, because I don't like the way the football club's been run in the last 6 or 7 years, also too, we've got to get rid of our current board, because our board have been a liability for several years, so yeah, and I think, we need a director of football, someone who would be reliable to oversee our transfer business, and someone, who knows the culture of the clubs, and someone, who's got the right philosophy, to be our director of football and that. Some people believe maybe Solskjaer would be better as maybe a director or maybe a coaching assistant than actually, being a manager, but I totally disagree with that. I don't agree with that. I think there's more players that need to leave Manchester United. We've still got to get a clear out. Solskjaer, thinking about getting a clear out. I think we need to get rid of around 6 or 7 players this year. Definitely, obviously, more incomings are needed as well. The news regarding Chon, by the way, I think he's going to be going on a free transfer at the end of the season, reportedly. Obviously, there's been, the Chong saga has been going on for quite some time. It's been dominating the mainstream media, and it's basically saying, look, Juventus and Inter Milan are in for him, so he could be going to Italy, because let's be honest, he hasn't really had a lot of games as Chong, at Manchester United since he broke into the senior squad. He has played quite a few games, but I don't think he's at that level as yet. But he did prove himself today when he did come off the bench, to be fair, did Chong, so I will credit him for that. Angel Gomez, I think, he also, could be leaving the club. I think Chelsea have expressed their interest in Angel Gomez. I expect Jones to leave, whether he leaves in this January transfer window, whether he leaves in summer or whenever, I don't know. But I think Man United will get rid of him, because he does get his chance in the cup games, but obviously, he doesn't really play in the league now. I think, we could consider getting rid of Rojo. He's still out with injury at the moment. I think Matic is still one of the problematic players. The Nemanja Matic. I think he's too slow in that midfield and too easily predictable. So I get rid of him. Some people are still saying they would get rid of Luke Shaw because he's injury prone. He's sustained quite a few injuries this season. So Man United do need a clear out. Definitely, we need a clear out. The players I would be determined to keep, though, because there's still some players I would be determined to keep. I'd definitely keep. Man United, I'd keep Rashford, definitely, because he's been in scintillating form this season. Before he sustained his injury, he's been very, very good for Man United this season as Rashford. I'd keep Daniel James. I don't think he's been so good in the last month or so, Daniel James, but I've got to say, I think he's prior to that he's done really, really well, and he's been a revelation. Coming all the way from the Championship to the Premier League. I'll keep all the 3 signings that were recommended in. I would definitely keep them. Pereira, I don't think he was too bad today, but I probably would still get rid of him. I wouldn't be determined to keep him. Lingard, probably still wouldn't be determined to keep him unless now he can, rejuvenate himself after reflect on his good performance put out today. I'd keep Lindelof, because I think Lindelof's really made an impact and he's done really well alongside Maguire this season. He's had a few bad spells as a Man United player. Prime example wasn't so good in his first season, Victor Lindelof, but I would keep him at the football club. I would keep him at the football club, definitely. But Solskjaer, he did go with a fairly strong team today, but he did rest some key players. Bissaka got rested. He's obviously resting for the game against Manchester City that's coming up. He rested Daniel James. He didn't play. Obviously, Rashford couldn't play because he was injured. So he rested quite a few first teamers. Obviously, McTominay can't play at the moment because he's injured. Pogba can't because, he's injured and that. But yeah, overall, very, very delighted with today's win against Tranmere. And it will be interesting to see, who we're going to get in the 5th round of the competition and that. It will be very, very interesting to see. Want to give you now an update on some transfer news, because I have been doing that on a regular basis, throughout the course of this January transfer window, keeping up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United. So the saga with Manchester United and Bruno Fernandes has totally dominated the mainstream media for the entirety of this January transfer window. So we've been relentlessly linked to him. We was relentlessly linked to him last season and last summer. The main explanation why we didn't get Bruno Fernandes last summer is because, we was not determined to meet Sporting Lisbon's valuation. Last summer, Sporting Lisbon wanted 70 million. We was only determined to pay around £50 million for Bruno Fernandes. So now the latest news on Bruno Fernandes is that now reportedly Man United still do remain in negotiations with Sporting Lisbon over Bruno Fernandes, basically. Now reportedly it says, we've increased our offer for Bruno Fernandes. So reportedly now We've upped our offer to around 46.5 million, with add-ons included, a bit related to performances or something like that anywhere. Is this enough, to convince Sporting Lisbon, to offload him? No, because Sporting Lisbon are standing firm on their valuation. They've basically said, look, we want £68 million. Man United are not determined to pay that. I think Sporting Lisbon has said they want around 50 million up front. We had our previous bid rejected for Bruno Fernandes because reportedly, we'd offered around 42.5 million up front with around 8.5 million in add-ons, but Sporting Lisbon had turned this down. But, we're still confident, we can get this deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes by deadline day. We could actually, sign Bruno Fernandes on deadline day. But I did say to you, didn't I, the stumbling block of Bruno Fernandes' move to Man United has been the fee. Man United and Sporting Lisbon have struggled to come to an agreement on a fee. But I do believe that the personal terms have been agreed between the two clubs, because obviously a lot of Portuguese outlets come out the other week and they said that Man United have agreed the personal terms with Bruno Fernandes and he's set to earn around £120,000 a week. I think his contract is a 4.5, 5-year deal. But Bruno Fernandes has confirmed he wants to join Manchester United. He's confirmed this. It's his preference to move to Manchester United. And I think, we've got to get this deal over the line for him. Could be the only signing we're making this January transfer window. There again, we may get someone on loan until the end of the season. But I think in terms of a permanent deal, I think Bruno Fernandes is only the one we're probably, going to sign. And I'll be delighted with that. We need more than him, but I'm delighted that we're going to get a good player on the board. Bruno Fernandes will be a great addition to our squad. Bruno Fernandes can score goals. He can create chances. He can provide assists from that midfield. And, I think, if he comes to the Premier League, he can replicate what he's done in his couple of years with Sporting Lisbon, can Bruno Fernandes, because he's had a good couple of years in Portugal. He extended his contract last year. But I do believe now, even though he's not played in the Premier League, Fernandes, that, he's got the minerals to come and succeed in the Premier League. And we're seeing him as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, because I'm still very convinced that Paul Pogba will leave the football club in the summer. But, we want to get him on the board. And City nearly got him last summer. Tottenham also went in for him. Liverpool went in for him. But he is only the age of 25. And I think Duncan Castles came out today. He's very, very close to United. And he said, I think it's close now, Man United signing Bruno Fernandes, but nothing is official as yet. But he's definitely going to be our first signing of this year. But he's our number one priority target. George Mendes says he doesn't know if he's going to be leaving. Scholes said we've got a greater chance now of signing him. Reflects on our 2-0 defeat to Burnley. But yeah, we've been in negotiations. Negotiations are now at an advanced stage. We've been in talks. They've stalled a couple of times, but prior to that, the talks have been going on, since Bruno Fernandes' agent and, Sporting Lisbon president came to London to meet up with Ed Woodward. But I think also Ed Woodward has been working on this deal. So that's the latest news regarding Bruno Fernandes. But, we're also looking for the striker. We know the midfield's more of a priority now. We need 2 midfielders, but we now need a striker. Reflecting on the injury to Rashford, because, he's got a double fracture in his back and he's going to be out for at least 6 weeks, is Rashford. So where are the goals now going to come from in the Premier League? And that's the element of concern. So Islam Slimani now, I give you an update regarding him yesterday, and it does say that Manchester United are in for Islam Slimani. He's currently on loan at Monaco from Leicester. This is his first season on loan with Monaco. Now, Man United are in for him. Reportedly, we'd have to pay around £4 million to Leicester to get him on loan. Don't really know much about the player. I know he's 31 years of age, so his age does concern me. He's obviously, had a few loan spells. He had a loan spell at Newcastle and Fenerbahce. Didn't score one senior goal for Newcastle during his loan spell. So he had some unsuccessful loan spells. Leicester paid £29 million for him from Sporting Lisbon in 2016. And obviously, reflects on that at that time. That was Leicester's record signing. So now it's saying that Man United are in for him. I don't think we're going to get Edinson Cavani. We inquired about the availability of Edinson Cavani. I don't think that was a loan, though. I think, wanted to try and get him in permanently. But again, I wouldn't want Edinson Cavani at Manchester United anywhere. His age concerns me because he's now 32. He's never played in the Premier League. He's injury prone. But overall, I still think he's a pretty decent player. But he's rejected an offer to Man United anywhere because his preference is a move to Atletico Madrid. Is Edison Cavani's. Chelsea have also inquired about him. Frank Lampard has come out recently and praised the player. But, Edison Cavani's been a long-serving player at PSG. He's endured 7 years with PSG. And he's been really, really good. 198 goals in 293 games in all competitions. PSG's all-time leading goal scorer. Well, record goal scorer, should I say. And PSG did pay around £55 million to him from Napoli back in 2013. His current contract is due to expire at the end of the season. But, also he's too expensive because he said if we were to get him, Man United or Chelsea, they'd have to pay around £66 million for Edison Cavani. So, Edison Cavani to Man United, I don't think is happening. Obviously, Moussa Dembele's been on my agenda. I give you the news regarding Carlos Tevez not too long ago. I don't think Tevez is coming to Manchester United. I can't see that happening, to be quite honest with you. We inquired about getting him on loan. Tevez is now 35 years of age. Obviously, he's in his current third spell with Boca Juniors. You'd probably get Tevez for a reasonable figure now anyway, because he's with his age and his current contract is due to expire at the end of the season. And, he's a former Man United player. When he was younger, he endured 2 years with the club. He was with us from 2007 to 2009, and in that 2-year period, he scored 34 goals, did Tevez. He won 2 Premier Leagues with us and the Champions League, Carlos Tevez, but very, very good player he was. Obviously, before he was at us, he was at West Ham. Obviously, after he left us, he went to Man City. The main explanation why he went to Man City is because, Ferguson wouldn't give him the pay rise he was demanding. Then obviously, went to Juventus, then went to China, and now, of course, he's at Boca Juniors. But I don't see this happening, but there was reports coming out about it the other day. So what striker would you like to recommend into Man United? Someone who would fit in well alongside the likes of, Martial and Daniel James and that, someone who would be able to show us goals. And don't get me wrong, the likes of Tevez probably and Cavani, maybe even Islam Slimani would provide us them goals. But, they are just too old. But we only want to get them on loan until the end, get one of them on loan until the end of the season anyway. Obviously, until Rashford, does fully recover and that. But, my perception on Solskjaer is that, he is a club legend. He's a club legend. We'll never forget what he's done for the football club. One of his most iconic moments as a player was back in 1999. One of his most iconic moments as a manager was that PSG game last season when we overcome that 2-goal deficit and won 3-1 in the second leg. I can't thank, he's done really, really well for the football club as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. And I thought he was a fantastic player for us for 11 years under Alex Ferguson's guidance. But I think as a manager, he's just totally comparison to how he was as a player. I think Solskjaer is not a manager to the top level. He doesn't have that proven pedigree. That's my element of concern about him. And I just don't think he's good enough to succeed as a manager. And, he's aware that, it is a transition period for Man United and he's aware that he can get through this transition period. But he's aware now that he's in his second year at the club. He's got many expectations to exceed. But I don't only think Solskjaer's an inexperienced manager. I think Carrick's an inexperienced coach. Kieran McKenna's an inexperienced coach, and I think they also need to go. Phelan needs to go. There again, reverting back to Carrick, I thought he was a very, very good player. Same perception of what I've got of Solskjaer in that aspect. But I just don't think Solskjaer's good enough. And he's been here at Man United now 13 months. So he's been here over the year. He's been permanent boss for a good 10 months now. He did really, really well when he's the interim manager, Solskjaer, so I will also credit him for that. When he was interim, he did really, really well. Enjoyed a good 3-month period, definitely in that. And, Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. Obviously, Man United haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers, but 3 managers have gone since Ferguson era. Moyes left after 10 months, Van Gaal left, and obviously, Jose Mourinho left. So if Solskjaer was to be sacked, he would be our 4th manager to be sacked since the Ferguson era. Obviously, Pochettino, he's one manager on our agenda. reports coming out saying if he does get another job by the end of the season, then Tottenham will get 10 million in compensation. Pochettino, if he is to come to Man United anyway, won't be coming in until the end of the season, so he may not now come because he may get another job before the end of the season. Don't forget there's been rumours recently coming out regarding Gareth Southgate. Obviously, Gareth Southgate is currently a manager of England. If Gareth Southgate was to come in, it wouldn't be till after the European Championships of this year, obviously. I don't see Southgate coming in, even though recent reports have said that, Gareth Southgate is, our primary candidate now to replace Solskjaer. Gareth Southgate's done well for England. He can develop a lot of young players. He's only managed one team at club level, and that was Middlesbrough. He also played for Villa, Crystal Palace and Middlesbrough during his playing career. So he's also now on our current agenda to replace Solskjaer. But, Solskjaer, will still remain in his job for the time being, definitely. But, for us to sack Solskjaer, we'd have to pay around 5 million, Can we afford to get rid of him? Because we're still paying Moyes, Van Gaal and Jose Mourinho's salaries off, despite the fact, that they are sat. But he's still got 2.5 years left on his deal as Solskjaer. So we sack him within any time within this 2.5 year period. We have to pay something in compensation, definitely. We have to pay something to get rid of Solskjaer. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.